Well, hello to everybody here. It's Teresa Sanderson. As always, very excited to connect with you today. For the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight, we have a special segment today that we're going to be providing for you. And this is with the guys that we know over at Medical Financial Partners. I got started working with Kyle Acchiavati and Tyler Greenberg last year with the work that they were doing with Nurse Disability Partners. And it was just really, they're looking at some innovations in what the life insurance industry can provide for nurses and take better care of nurses with disability products and things like that. And one of the key things that I learned from them last year is that we as nurses are very unwitting consumers when it comes to buying our benefits from our employers. And so one of the key points that I remember I learned last year from these guys is that the contracts that we buy into with our employers are typically all written in favor of the employer, which means at any given moment, our benefits can drastically change or even be eliminated altogether with us really having no say in that. So I want to welcome again Kyle Acchiavati and Tyler Greenberg to the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. Thank you guys for sharing some time with me and for being here today.
Thank you very much, Teresa.
Of course,
Yeah.
thanks for having us.
Yeah. No, thanks for having us for sure.
Yeah, I'm
and just to
excited.
kind of, what was
Go
that?
ahead.
Sorry?
Go
So
ahead.
yeah, just to give you a little background, we did kind of transition. We were nurses, disability specialists, as you had mentioned, and we had to take kind of a unexpected change. So we were getting a lot more introductions into the, doctors, residents, and we realized that just pigeonholing us as a nurses specialist, which was kind of my favorite to do because my father was a nurse or is a nurse, retiring shortly. My brother's a nurse, my girlfriend's a nurse. My whole world's been kind of predicated around nurses. So that was my favorite, but we unfortunately had to make the change because we were getting a lot more noticity or notification around the residents world, the doctors world. So we want to kind of expand and incorporate everyone in the medical space and just be that kind of helping hand for the, financial wellness around nurses, doctors, residents, and even some medical staff now as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and to build off what Tyler said, the reason we got into this space is we just like to help people, and the medical field, you guys help people, and that's who we want to work with. We want to work with people that care about others and are there for them, and that's really why we got into this space. And just to go off of that, what we've found is just throughout the world, in today's world, people are underprotected, they don't save enough money, and most people aren't prepared for retirement. So it's really important to just realize that when at a younger age or as soon as possible, because the more time you have, the more options you have. And that's really kind of why we did this, and that's our goal and our mission.
Fantastic. And I know that, when we talk about things like life insurance and disability insurance, I remember we talked about this last year, Kyle, that we kind of have an expiration date of sorts on when the best time to apply is, right? So if everybody applied when they were 24, 25 and super great health, very young and vital, the rates would be extremely low for insurance, right? So for everybody who's watching, who's in that age group, here's the message, right? Now is your time to grab your benefits for life insurance, disability, long-term care. All that stuff is going to be super inexpensive right now. Whereas if you wait, the problem with waiting is that over time, we as nurses know people develop chronic illnesses. We have potential to have back injuries and other problems that could make us uninsurable for many providers if we choose to buy on our own. So we're kind of cutting off our own nose in this thing. But again, unwittingly, we're not taught that we need to do these things at a certain time in our life when it's in our favor. And so that's another thing, though, that I think you all are looking into with what you're doing now in Medical Financial Partners is having some different options available that aren't so exclusive for nurses who need disability coverage, and also having a long-term care option and things like that. So I'd love it if you guys could kind of tell us a little bit more about what's new and what you're working on now.
Yeah, Kyle, I'll let you take this one away.
Yeah, so obviously the products you're mentioning, they're based on age and health. So the younger you are and the healthier you are, the cheaper it's going to be. Generally, when you're younger, you're healthier. So that's where Teresa's really saying it's important to get it while you're young to keep the costs low. And when you do it while you're young, we're going to lock it in. So it's the same for the rest of your life. And the new product that kind of came out that Teresa's getting at is it's kind of a 3-for-1. It includes disability insurance, life insurance, and long-term care. Now, it's not like the golden ticket solve all the problems, but what it is, it's cheaper options. So people with cash flow issues, and especially in the economy today, money's tight. So whether we don't want to keep people unprotected because of cash flow issues, so this product can kind of help us solve that problem for the meantime. And it is a great product for the long term, but obviously if cash flow wasn't an issue, we'd want our own individual products. But
Yeah, so kind of what
go
Kyle's
ahead.
touching on is, it's not a one shoe fits all type of scenario. It's going to be a case by case basis.
Yeah.
We really would like to, get to know you, get to know, kind of what we're looking at to really determine if that's the best case. And it very well could be, that's just what it is.
Yeah, I love that. But I also just love that you're looking for options, and I think that's what nurses need, because one of the biggest barriers that I find in nurses starting their own businesses, because you guys know I'm very pro nurse entrepreneur, I am very pro doing nursing differently, and so one of the biggest barriers for nurses though is leaving those benefits, that they have typically only had in place through their employer. And so I think it's just very important for people to know that you can have your own policy, and then no matter where you go, you
Yep.
have the blessing of knowing it's your policy. You take it whatever you do. And that's a big difference, So
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you all seeing as far as, I know you work with a lot of healthcare professionals, and are you seeing any trends related to, illness and injury, chronic illness, chronic injury, disability, and things like that?
Funny you asked, and funny you mentioned that. So we are actually seeing a trend in the younger generations. They're coming into the hospitals, and we're seeing a lot more mental nervous problems. So you got more of the anxieties, the depressions, and that's kind of, impacting more of their job. And you're kind of just seeing that as, people think they're healthy, and you're healthy until you're not.
Yeah.
And it is just generally transitioning younger with the anxiety and the depression type of things. And it could be something that you just don't even anticipate, something like asthma, sleep apnea. These are big problems in the financial world as, income protection options. And you just wouldn't expect it. I know, for instance, I can give you an example. My father and my brother, both of them, thought they were extremely healthy, anticipated being very healthy. And then it came up that they both have asthma and both have sleep apnea. And those, in the eyes of a insurance company, can be severe. For instance, sleep apnea can cause you to stop breathing, asthma as well. And my father did get declined from coverage. And my brother was lucky enough to get a base level coverage. He wasn't able to get the full amount, but he got something at least.
Wow.
Those are just some of the areas that people don't anticipate, as well as don't, expect.
Right. And so I guess in there may be some providers who would insure with those diagnoses, but then it would just be really super expensive, cost prohibitive, right? If they were going to do that, and probably still a smaller benefit. They limit.
I was gonna say, even if they accept it, they might not even accept the coverage.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow.
The tighter one. Yeah. Tighter window.
Wow. Well, that is, I just think it's so important for nurses to know and understand their finances. And so I know that you all also have tools. So in addition to what you do with, the life insurance, disability, and long-term care, you also do some work with financial planning, and that kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, so we have a tool called the Living Balance Sheet. It's an app on your phone, and it really just organizes your finances, and it's really how we can kind of communicate and track your progress towards your goals. When we sit down with someone, the first thing we want to know is what are your goals and what are your concerns. And from there, that's really where we work to build your plan and build your future. Most people think, oh, sitting down with an advisor, they just want to talk about investing money. But really, what we're finding is no one's organized. And that's the first step, because what happens is you have a bunch of benefits through work. You might have it from an old job. You might have inherited something that you don't know about. But all these financial tools and accounts you might have, it's really important to get organized, because you might already have something that you didn't know about. And once we really organize and get the full lay of the land, we can really move forward in your plan and help the best. The more information we have, the better we can help. And that tool, the Living Balance Sheet, just in today's world, everyone loves digital things and apps. It's just a great thing to have right on your phone. You can see where you are, your progress, and it actually has a vault option to really keep everything secure. So if you have, say you need a physical for your doctors, you can upload it to the vault and it'll always be on your phone. You don't have to go searching for it. So it just has a lot of features that are also not just towards the financial planning, but just other additions that can bring value to our clients.
I love that. I love that. And so if somebody were interested in getting a hold of that tool, how would they do that?
So they just contact one of us, and we can set it up for them. What we do is we typically just either a phone call or Zoom conversation to start out, just to learn a little bit about you, and then we can set up an account and go from there, and really work towards your financial goals and your future, and get that. And like Tyler said before, the financial wellness, it's really important to get that together and really go to help you in your life, to really make sure that all your finances are in order, to give you more options later on.
Yep.
I love that. I love that. And the old Dave Ramsey thing, you've got to tell those dollars where to go, right? You've got to put them to work and tell them where to go, because otherwise we have no earthly idea what happens. It's like those trips to Target that, oh man, $200 later, I'm leaving.
That's a cheap trip, Teresa.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of girl I am. Sorry. Oh man. Well, so I have another question. If a nurse is working on, getting his or her finances organized, as you were talking about, Tyler, how often should people have like a financial checkup with their financial advisor? How often should we be reviewing our overall portfolio and that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, realistically, the way we like to set this up is obviously in the beginning, while we're getting organized, it's generally going to be a lot more hands-on. Sure. We want to make sure that we're taking you through the steps appropriately. We're taking you in a timely fashion, and we're being cautious of your time as well. As we get more, organized and set up with the appropriate things, it generally is how the client wants to do it. We've had clients who like to meet annually. We've had clients who like to meet quarterly and semi-annually. So it really depends. It's one of those things that's not going to be a one shoe fits all. If someone likes a little bit more guidance, we are more apt to be, okay with taking that on as a quarterly type of thing. But, once you're set up and everything is good to go, so to say, it's really going to be, hey, look, Tyler and Kyle, I'd love to sit down. I had this come up, and we're happy to do so. But other than that, it's going to be either quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. Got
it. I do like the individualized approach. That's a huge thing for nurses, that, individualized care plans, all that kind of stuff. We like that personal touch and not being expected to just, everybody fits in one box.
Exactly.
So I know you guys are on the East Coast, Massachusetts, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So where, in the US can you serve clients?
So
Where?
we
What
we
locations are?
are currently licensed in many of the states.
Okay.
We're not tied to, just Massachusetts.
Okay.
It's a very quick process. If there's a state that we're not currently licensed in and we
Mhm.
need to be, we can do that instantly.
Oh.
Otherwise, we have someone in our company who is already licensed in all the states. So
Okay.
we're not really tied to one specific location, which is the
Okay.
benefit of having Zoom, because we can now do it virtually instead of
Yeah.
having to meet in person.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah, so to summarize that, we can help anyone anywhere. As long as they can hop on a phone or a Zoom conversation, we can help them. And it's just a quick process to do so.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, I love that. And so if any of our nurses who are tuned in today want to get in touch with you guys, how do they find you? How do they connect with you?
So we're all on LinkedIn. You can search us, or you can search our page is also on LinkedIn, Medical Financial Partners. And that's really the best way where to get us. We're very active on LinkedIn, and we have postings on our website, on our LinkedIn page every day. So some good information to have. And we also have an email blast that goes out too, once you're one of the followers on the page. So just good information, newsletters coming in too.
Yeah, and on top of that, we can always leave our, bookings link. We do have a link to book an appointment directly. If that's something that is, interest to individuals, we can leave that with you, Teresa, and you can get that up to them as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to share that along with this information so that people know how to reach out to you directly. And I'll also share your LinkedIn page so that they can find you and connect with you there. But I want to thank you guys for sharing some time with me today and getting us updated on what's been going on. Your services are valuable to nurses, nurse entrepreneurs, and healthcare providers. And so I want to support what you're doing because you're working hard to support all of us. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, Teresa.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so welcome. So for everybody that's tuning in, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight featuring our favorite guys over at Medical Financial Partners. And again, click the link below this video, get in touch with them if you want to just, look into setting up your financial plan for your future, taking care of yourself with insurance products and things like that, and maybe even just exploring the contract that you currently have with your employer for the insurance benefits that you have, so that they can look at the language for you and tell you, if it's written in your favor or not, and what options you may have. So again, guys, thank you very, very much for joining us today. All right.
Thank you very much, Teresa.
Thank you, Teresa.
You guys are most welcome. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. Bye.